Hey guys, how's it going? Amanda here, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I am finally getting a chance to react to the most recent episode of Cartoon Therapy, which is titled, What Avatar Last Airbender Can Teach Us About Self-Worth. This beautiful thumbnail right here. So, it's been out for almost a week now, about 5 days, and I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it because it's 53 minutes long. So, I know a lot of time and effort went into this with Thomas and all his friends that are involved in the series, so I'm really excited. And this is different than the original episode of Cartoon Therapy, which was about Steven Universe, because I've never seen Steven Universe. I will eventually. Sorry. But I have seen all of Avatar The Last Airbender and its sequel, The Legend of Korra. I probably prefer the original series. While there are things I like about Korra, that's a whole nother bag of worms with me. But anyway, I digress. Let's get this started. And yes, my backdrop is a bit different because I moved my TV around. It's no longer on the wall that's behind me. It's on this wall, so my setup's going to be a little different, but the video's going to be right here for your viewing pleasure, so it looks like I'm looking at it. And let's get started. I gotta turn it up, because I don't have it turned up. Alright. It also says I've watched it, and I haven't.
What is up, everybody? Okay, before we get into this episode, which starts in this amount of time, that amount of time, I gotta get through this fast. Starting the day of this day, we are turning on our YouTube membership feature.
I'm a member!
This is really cool because not only by joining are you helping to support us, and I'm not just saying that you're supporting us, like you are truly, truly supporting us, but you're also going to be gaining access to a bunch of really cool stuff. You're gonna get members-only live streams, Sandersides emojis. You're gonna get a badge next to your name so that when you comment, we'll know who's commenting. Potential first glimpses at new episodes and series. You're gonna gain access to scripts to scripted videos after they go up, and maybe even the occasional discount at the store where I sell my things. There's the website.
I buy a lot of stuff there anyway, so.
Joan told
I
me
love him
to
laughing
say,
himself
all
out
it takes is a $5. And I don't mean a high five, that was misleading. It's $5 a month, but that's still a good deal. All you have to do is click the blue join button down below this video, or click the first link down in the description below. But if you don't want to do that, or if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. Nothing changes for you. You still get all the access to the video content. We still love you and appreciate any support that you do provide. Lastly, for any of you who joined today, the first live stream is going to be happening the day after today.
I missed
and they're
it
most
because I
likely
hadn't
going to
seen
be
this
happening
yet.
the day
So
after a
mad.
scripted video is posted. And time's up. Bye.
Time's up. Bye! He's so cute. Disclaimer, the following video is not an accurate representation of an actual therapy section. I didn't get to read it because, okay, I have to pause it. I'm sorry, guys. For some reason, my thing decided to automatically put Spanish subtitles, so I'm gonna back it up a second because I didn't see that screen there. We're gonna back it up, so Thomas is gonna say something again. Because it goes back like 15 seconds, so sorry about that. Because I wanted to see what the screen said. Cool. Bye, Thomas. See you later, honey. Alright, let's restart this. Warning! Avatar Last Airbender spoilers ahead. Well, okay, that's fine. It's a pineapple.
Larry, quit picking at it.
I love him. Oh, I love Ellie's new outfit.
So you're acting like a child. You know, my mom always says you act like a child. I'm always like, no, he's actually really mature. But here you are, acting like a child. I already paid for this, so you're gonna do it.
Yay, Talon's in it now. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Dad?
Dad, why in the wide world of sports are we back here?
I thought we made some really good breakthroughs at the last session.
Well, the session is where the breakthrough stopped. We started off strong in the playoffs, but then didn't even make the Sweet 15s.
That doesn't even make any sense, Larry. You're a theater kid. Stop trying to talk
I love
sports.
Larry and Dotson.
Yeah, I remember. I'll call Mom later. Yeah, listen, I'm about to start a session. Can I call you back? Therapy, I told you. Yes, Dad, I do need it.
Oh boy.
I think I need it.
That sucks.
I don't know, it's just nice having someone to talk to, you know?
Kai, I'm just trying to help. And he's a really good doctor. And I think it would do you some good to talk to somebody. Just try it this one time. Thank you.
Aww.
I'll be back in an hour. Put your glasses on. What are you doing?
But that's not what I meant. No.
So Talon's character's name is
That's not-
Kai. I like that. Hey. They're gonna be
Yeah.
a good character.
Okay, I know, Dad. Alright. Yeah, I know. Alright, cool. I'll see you guys this weekend. Alright, yeah, bye.
I wonder if it's a hint that Lilo and Stitch and SpongeBob will eventually be more representative.
Hello, nurse.
No, my name is Elliot.
Oh, my mistake. Wrong room.
I like your new office.
Oh, thanks. The last complex kicked me out for being too disruptive or something.
I don't believe it.
Believe it.
Naruto.
Yeah. Oh, you're catching on. This is good. Let me get my journal. Sugar, spice, and everything nice. These are the ingredients chosen to create the perfect little session.
Well, I think we gave this a great second try.
Leronald.
He only made things worse last time.
What? I say what now?
Sorry, Doctor. Larry's in a bit of a sour mood. The salmon bagel he had this morning is not agreeing with him.
I think I might have salmonella.
You don't get that from salmon? We love the new location,
We seldomly leave town or go on vacation.
so we decided to dress for the occasion.
Oh, they're adorable. I love
It's
them.
only 30 minutes from the last location, but okay. Glad you're back, Elliot.
You are? I thought the point was for me not to come back.
I wouldn't say that's the point. Lots of well-adjusted people go to therapy, Elliot. But regardless, we still have a lot to work through since, we only had one real session.
Right, and this one's going to be my last.
What? I say, what now? New patient,
Guy's face, it's
hello,
hilarious.
you, how do? My name is Dr. Picani, and you must be Kai.
Oh.
Reach for the Kai. In Toy Story. Was it the entrance? Is it too much?
Nothing to do with you. I think you're great, and I'm going to fully commit today, or whatever. It's the most non-committal way of saying that. Yeah. Afterward, I'm done.
Great googly mooglies. Well, okay. If you're sure, then it looks like we've got some ground to cover, so we better review quickly.
Review?
Of course, Larry, you're saying we may have taken a wrong turn at Albuquerque, so we should discuss what happened in the last session.
Oh, well, sure. Well, we came in because I felt we weren't quite on the same page in the relationship.
Then you compared our relationship to some cartoon rocks.
Yeah, I did! The Crystal Gems! Good recall, Larry!
We talked about how it's okay for me to need reassurance sometimes, and about how we aren't two halves of a whole in our relationship. We're two fully realized separate individuals who chose to fuse, and that's what our biggest strength is. Oh, and then we stole your...
Heart! With our charming back and forth.
That you did! I am a fan of witty and high-energy conversation. Oh, it's the Office. You hate it. It's new. It's been throwing people off more than when Teen Titans became Teen Titans Go. But, I'm still settling in. It can be a process to get things just the way you want them. All right, go ahead, get to talking. Gotta go fast. Previously on Elliot.
You want me to? We talked about my relationship with my boyfriend Mitchell and how it might not be the most stable thing on the planet.
That's right. And did you two have any progress?
Yeah, we talked about some of it. It's hard to bring it up at a good time, you know?
Elliot, there are plenty of good times. Peanut butter jelly time, adventure time, 248. That's a particular favorite of mine.
Right, but sometimes he's tired or upset or he's just, I don't know. I did bring it up though.
Oh, good. And what was discussed exactly?
That I was seeing you alone now. And that's it.
Elliot, as we discussed, you have equal weight and importance in your relationship.
Right, yeah, totally.
Has anything significant happened since our last meeting?
Oh, nothing too significant. Larry did have a eensy-teensy-weensy-beensy.
Just say what you're going to say.
I tried to throw Larry a nice evening and he threw me a little fit.
Yes, I did. Because it was an overly extravagant fever dream.
There may have been a few rose petals, a candelabra, a rented fire pit. Maybe doves were released in the living room, and I may have hired someone to play the harp. I mean...
Finding someone in your living room is scary. I almost tackled her.
You didn't have any problem with the two masseuses I rented.
You leave Sven and Vlad out of this. They were Nordic angels.
Brain blast!
What was that you said about being kicked out for being disruptive?
Elliot, if I've only got you for one more session, let's try to treat Mitchell how Disney treats many of their questionable racist animations of the past and pretend like they don't exist.
That seems mean to Mitchell.
This is a solo therapy session after all. A hastened journey not unlike a young avatar once had to make. And I'm here to help you open up all your chakras.
Naruto.
No.
Wrong show, Elliot. Wrong show. I mean, I said the title.
Okay, so I may have gotten a teensy, tiddly-winksy bit carried away.
Working with children has ruined the way you speak.
And Larry wasn't the biggest fan of it.
Ugh, I just didn't need it. It was sweet of you. It was. And I'm sure it cost a fortune, which I'm not thrilled about. But I don't need to be pampered. I don't need to be taken care of all the time.
Whoa! Looks like the blind bandit stepped into the ring.
Oh boy, we are off to a rocky start.
Oh, you have no idea. All right, Elliot, if memory serves, you're part of a nice little modern Stone Age family.
Let's give them a little credit, Doc. They at least made it to the Iron Age, but yeah.
Mother, father, sister, brother?
Oh, it's like you take notes or something.
It's like you've gotten more sarcastic or something.
It's like I'm in a better mood this time or something.
Speaking of which, last time I said that you were the Jack in your family of Incredibles, but you said you weren't incredible. Why do you think you have that outlook on yourself?
Wow. Switch gears real fast.
Yep, this session is the Mach 5 and I'm Speed Racer. Let's go!
I mean,
Speed
I don't
racer.
know. I'm not special.
And that's where I'm gonna hit the brakes. Elliot, looks like you're in need of your own quest.
A Johnny Quest?
I appreciate you trying to speak my language, but no. You, like so many people at some point in their lives, must embark on a journey to discover your own self-worth. And I know that's not the easiest thing in the Four Nations, but some of the most arduous journeys make the best stories.
Well, mine is a never-ending story. I regret doing that.
No points for that one. Not a cartoon and mean. Your quest, along with being expedited, has another similarity to Avatar, Aang. Neither of you believe you deserve that great inner strength.
I know you don't need constant care, Larry. It's just, I don't know, trying to contribute more to our relationship.
Love, you contribute enough to our relationship by being yourself and by being there for me.
Aw.
Do I, though? See, you know he says these sweet things to me all the time. So why am I so confused as to what to do?
It's okay to be confused. Sometimes life can be like a dark tunnel. You can't always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you keep moving, you will come to a better place.
That sounds suspiciously unoriginal. Is it from a cartoon?
Come now, Larry, I am capable of coming up with my own original ideas. However, you are correct in this instance. That is a quote from good old Uncle Iroh. You know, Kai, whenever you're ready, eye contact is perfectly safe. I mean, I'm no Ko the face dealer or anything. Ah, there I go again with another random cartoon reference. It's funny, I brought this cartoon up in 2 other sessions this week. Ko is this really cool malevolent spirit from this animated series Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not that you care about any of this or anything, but you two haven't seen Avatar, have you?
No.
I have a severe, highly specific phobia in regards to blue aliens.
Oh, except for the adorable stuffed one we took.
Fancy to. At Disney World.
Yeah, well then you're in luck because I'm not referring to the James Cameron movie. We're talking the excellent and alien-free Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, you're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, you've seen it?
No, but it had really good music in the end credits. I never got home from school in time.
Oh, you're killing me. Elliot, you watched Naruto but not Airbender? Come on.
I haven't watched Naruto. I don't know where you got that.
So, in the show, there are primarily 4 nations that correlate with the 4 elements: water, earth, fire, and air. Certain people are born with the gift to control, or bend, one of these elements. Long before the events of the show, the 4 nations lived together in harmony. Then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. I know. The drama. Anyway, the show's intro is already a perfectly adequate synopsis of the story, so I'm just going to continue borrowing some of its language. Only the Avatar, one individual who is reincarnated in each generation and can master all 4 elements, could stop the Fire Nation. But when the world needed him most, him being Aang, the 12-year-old Avatar at the time, and soon to be only remaining Airbender in the world, he vanished. 100 years pass, and 2 siblings from the Southern Water Tribe, 2 siblings from the Northern Water Tribe, Katara and Sokka, discover Aang.
Will you go penguin sledding with me?
We don't think
And although his airbending skills are great, he has a lot to learn before he's ready to save anyone.
I think it's neat that he purposely told Kai the wrong tribe
the world.
to see if Kai would fix his mistake.
What? I say what now? You were saying something?
Katara and Sokka are from the southern water tribe, not the northern. And Ko doesn't take your face if you make eye contact. He takes it if you show emotion.
You're right, my mistake. So you're familiar with the show.
So you think I'm like this super powerful, multi-element controlling kid, Ong?
It's Aang.
Ong?
I'm saying Aang.
I'm hearing Ong.
How are you hearing Aang? It's Aang, not Ong.
Thank you for referencing that, Thomas. My God,
Don't
that
you
movie
dare
is
pronounce
horrible.
it like that. But yes, you are like him in that you both doubt yourselves in what you are capable of. See, Aang disappeared because he ran away from the Southern Air Temple where he was raised. Due to the war, he had to start his training far earlier than most avatars, giving up a lot of his childhood. It was a lot to bear, and as the threat of change grew even more overwhelming, namely after overhearing that he would be separated from his friend and mentor, Monkey Yatso, he got scared and ran away. Then he and his air bison opera were caught in a storm that plunged them into the ocean, where he went into the Avatar state and encased them both in an iceberg where he resided for the next 100 years.
Okay, got it.
When he was released, he learned of how much his absence had affected the world, and his training of the other three elements would have to go at a, dare I say, stupidly fast pace.
You pretty much mastered airbending, and that only took you 112 years. I'm sure you can master 3 more elements by next summer.
The task was an overwhelming undertaking. He doubted himself incredibly, but it didn't stop him from trying to bring balance back to the world.
Quite frankly, the only one disturbing our balance is you.
Larry, you're the last person to criticize anyone about balance.
Dot, don't start.
I'm just saying, those who trip in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
It's live in glass houses.
I know what I said.
You know, Kai, you remind me of a certain character from Avatar. The independent streak, the waiting for all of this to be over, and dare I say, the attitude.
I don't have an attitude. I just don't need this. I can solve my own problems. Plus, I wouldn't even be here if I hadn't been forced. So if you don't mind, or if you do, I don't care. I'm gonna reclaim the hour that was stolen from me and use it to nap. People buy on therapy couches, right?
So this is your first time in therapy.
Nothing between Dot and I has changed, or at least I haven't changed. So I don't think we need the Avatar as much as you think we do.
See, Kai, this behavior reminds me of young Sokka's initial impression of Aang. Sokka lived his life preparing for a war with the Fire Nation. When Aang showed up, the supposed Avatar, Sokka felt like Aang was ill-equipped to solve the modern world's problems.
We can't fight firebenders with fun.
How could he solve something he didn't know the first thing about? Is that how you feel about me?
You're not the Avatar.
No, I'm not. If anything, I think I would be a waterbender.
And I'm not Sokka.
Larry, you and Sokka do have a lot in common, let me tell you. Water tribe.
Not if he's from a water tribe.
Larry's not much of a swimmer.
You know what I like about Sokka?
What?
F***ing nothing.
Oh? Write that down. Sokka is smart and a capable warrior.
I've changed my mind. Let's hear him out, Dot.
But unlike everyone else in his group, he can't bend an element. So, whenever he has the opportunity, he leaps at the chance to prove himself. Even though he doesn't have their natural bending talents, he does actually make a difference with his ingenuity.
Okay, I guess I am pretty good.
However, when he feels useless in any given circumstance, he will lash out. He can be a bit stubborn and set in his ways. Also, he had a pretty good sense of humor.
I'll agree. I'm pretty funny. But I'm not stubborn.
See?
He's
Classic
so cute,
Sokka.
little
You're a
Larry.
classic Sokka.
I'd say I'm more like Aang with a punch of booming.
These names mean nothing to me. Boomy, Saki.
Sokka.
I'll sock ya.
Larry, don't threaten violence. You can't fight. You're a thespian.
It's okay, Larry. No character I can name would be a perfect parallel to your life and your situation. There are many elements of many different characters we can all relate to. For example, in the last session when you mentioned that Dot was suffocating you, it reminded me of my footwear free fave.
I don't remember saying that at all. I wouldn't say that. Did I say that?
So you don't remember? Perhaps that's an example of you lashing out as a defense mechanism?
I don't know.
Sokka responds the same way when he feels that people are pointing out his inadequacies. maybe Dot admitting that she felt the disconnect is making you feel like there is something wrong with you, thus leading to this behavior?
I don't know. I really don't. But sheesh. You would have thought I would have caught on to something like this a while ago.
Okay, but what I'm going through is a little bit more than self-doubt.
You're probably right. But like Aang, you have support, right? What about your sister?
Oh, yeah. No, she's always been there for me. She's going off to college soon.
Oh no.
Is that why you want these sessions to end?
What?
Well, the Woodstock to your Snoopy is leaving. So do you feel that you have to quickly become independent before that time comes?
I don't know. I didn't think about that. Maybe. That'd be funny though, because she's the only one in my family that thought me going to therapy was a good thing.
Oh, what about the rest of your family?
Well, I don't know. I don't really talk about it with my brother, but my mom, she doesn't love it. It offends her, I guess. Like she feels like this is my way of telling her she did something wrong.
Good grief. And your dad?
Do you see that, Picani? Do you see this? Take note of that. That's important.
I can't see your pupils. That's not
He
good.
doesn't think I need it. He thinks I'm fine, that I don't have real problems.
Oh, sure. And there is no war in Ba Sing Se, you know what I mean?
I don't know what you
That's a
mean.
good.
Avatar reference about a conspiracy
That's a good
involving the
parallel.
denial of an unpleasant truth in an effort to keep the peace.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, he's always pointed to my brother as an example, you know, like, your brother wouldn't do that, or your brother wouldn't paint his nails like that. And it's like, okay, you got me, Dad. All I've ever wanted in my miserable life was to be more like Chad. His name is Chad. It's funny, like, I was the one who ended up with the legacy name, even though I'm not the firstborn.
Oh, your dad's name is Elliot too?
No, Elliot is my preferred name. It was my middle name. My parents named me
You can do it.
Herbert Jr.
Ah, that's right. That was in your paperwork. I would have gone with Elliot too. Now, you two have been together for 15 years, correct?
That's right. You have a great memory.
Thank you. I also have a handy-dandy notebook. Funny enough, Sokka was 15 when his whole adventure began, but tell me about your adventure. How did you two lovebirds first meet?
I don't know if I can recall. I remember it was a crisp autumn day. I was the director of a bold and daring version of Hamlet where no one dies.
No one died in your version of Hamlet?
Interesting.
It was the family-friendly version.
Oh, it was a great show. I had just moved to town and went immediately to join the local theater community. I volunteered to become their
God, he likes
stage
this.
manager because, well, I admired his drive to see this production through and just how much he had invested himself into the show. Not to mention, I admired his roguishly handsome face.
Okay, all right.
And she was a perfect stage manager. Attentive,
They're so cute.
consistent, and stunningly attractive.
Oh, their hands.
Guys, I'm sorry.
I haven't had a stage manager since that cared about a production so much. It was strange not needing to have my hands in everything all the time. I, for once, was able to trust someone else to do the job.
Oh, that is cuter than a saber-toothed moose lion cub. Now, Larry, you had mentioned that Dot was the first person you could trust to do the job. Were there issues before?
Well, no one else would treat the situation like she would. She'd help and be attentive, not only to my needs, but to those of the cast. She had a much lighter hand than mine.
Aw.
Normally, if there was a problem, I wouldn't dwell on it. I would solve it, then and there. No going around it, no clever solutions. I'd face the problem head on and get it solved. Dot's methods were admittedly more popular than mine.
Golly, are you sure that you haven't watched this show before? Because you're practically quoting it.
No! Animation makes me queasy. Pop-Pop never let me watch cartoons. Now, I can barely stomach them.
Larry the Salmon!
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But I recommend you give animation another shot. At least for this show. If you deal with things the way you say you do, then I believe you might really identify with a certain runaway.
You know who I'm like?
Sokka?
No, I'll tell you who I'm like. Toph.
I am the greatest earthbender in the world.
Wow, Kai, you're pretty tough on Sokka.
Holy shit.
Sorry, my apologies for the pun. Let's talk Toph Beifong. What do you like about her?
Who is Toph?
Toph is an earthbending master.
I don't know, she's bad, she's metal as hell, take your pick.
She's vocal about her opinions and faces every problem head on, especially if it's a problem people tell her she can't handle on her own.
People see me and think I'm weak. They want to take care of me, but I can take care of myself by myself.
That does sound like you.
Well, and no one knows you better than your bae. Fong, do kids still say bae?
Oh, I've been a teacher for years, and I just stopped trying to keep up.
So can you tell me why, out of all the characters, Toph takes the title belt? Like, when representing you, Toph's the top choice? Maybe it's because Toph triumphs over tough tasks and troublesome tragedy. I'm getting carried away. Please go on.
Toph doesn't take anything lying down. She has her own disability, but she never lets it get in the way.
Even though I was born blind, I've never had a problem seeing. I see with earthbending. It's kind of like seeing with my feet.
She takes what people think is weakness and she turns it into strength.
Oh, that's right. I remember seeing in your paperwork you deal with a disability yourself?
Yeah, but you've probably never heard of it.
Try me.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
You're right. I have not heard of that one. I am sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Don't sweat it, though. You're not alone in your ignorance.
Oh, good.
It's a connective tissue disorder. It creates a lot of joint pain, among other things, and I was diagnosed officially about 2 years ago, but I've always known that something was up. You know, I wasn't normal. I can never really jump or climb or run like other people my age.
Well, that must have made things pretty difficult growing up.
Yeah, I used to hang out with friends and just watch them doing stuff that normal kids do. Like climbing trees or climbing fences, whatever able-bodied kids do. And I would just know that I probably shouldn't do that, you know? Or I'd get hurt. So I'd just watch them have fun. People often treated me like someone that needed to be taken care of. And I did not care for that shit.
So you often found yourself in a position similar to Toph.
Right.
Some might even say a position similar to Sokka as well.
What?
He felt out of place at times because for most of the journey, his group consisted entirely of benders. It made him feel less than.
Each of you is so amazing and so special, and I'm not. I'm just the guy in the group who's regular.
Is that something you can relate to?
As a matter of fact, it's not!
Oh,
You don't know me! Stop trying to read me!
Lord.
You're not a psychic, you're not a woo, more like Uncle Abu!
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Coming in hot there. I've heard of Agni Kai, but this is ridiculous. Been waiting to make that joke. So you don't feel out of place among your friends?
Nope, they're great, I'm great. Just a bunch of great people skating around being great.
Oh, you skate?
Well, I mean, they skate more than I do. I mean, I can skate. It's just, in order to feel more comfortable, I have to wear protective gear and stuff. And it all makes me look pretty dorky, so I'd rather not, which is fine. I just chill while they do their thing. It's no big deal.
Do you feel like you might be prioritizing appearances over having a good time with your friends?
Oh my god. No, we're not doing this. You sound just like Lauren.
Lauren? Who is that person, man?
Hey guys, hey, welcome. This is Enrique's Exquisite Eatery. Come on down. The food's delicious. Where is it? I don't know. You gotta find it. We gotta swing.
Cool, wow.
Who is that person, man?
My girlfriend.
I'm Lauren.
She's the one who dragged me here. She's constantly in my face saying, "That's stupid! If they don't like you the way you are, then they don't deserve you. Nobody cares how you look, and blah blah blah, sunshine and rainbows."
Sounds like you don't like her.
I do, I'm just being an asshole.
Well, Elliot, from what you've told me, you have even more in common with the little airbender than I thought.
From what I told you?
Well, many of Aang's initial struggles are in his fear that this life was never meant for him. I already told you how they forced his training years before he was ready, and how his disappearance led to the Fire Nation taking over much of the world. Circumstances like these would easily make someone feel guilty and unsuitable for some sort of great destiny.
I still don't see how.
When Katara and Sokka release him, Katara asks Aang about the Avatar. Aang lies and says,
I didn't know him. I mean, I knew people that knew him.
You see, Aang had developed somewhat of an imposter syndrome, saying to the world, look, you got the wrong guy. Ellie, would it be fair to say that you may not feel suited to carry your father's name?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's not the only reason why I don't like the name, but the whole legacy thing is definitely uncomfortable. So I have imposter syndrome?
It may be part of the issue.
Oh, well, great. That doesn't help me get any better.
Well, sure it does.
Because I can say, see, Dad, I told you I'm not a Herbert. My therapist that you don't approve of said so.
No, because you can't fix a problem if you don't know where to look. One of the things about imposter syndrome is not giving yourself credit for the accomplishments and progress you've made. In Book 1, Episode 12, The Storm, Aang gets confronted by a fisherman who calls him out.
The Avatar disappeared for 100 years. You turned your back on the world.
Aang chooses to believe these words because they are what he believes about himself. He neglects the facts that he's already been journeying, training in waterbending, and helping people along the way.
Thank you, Avatar.
You are here trying to improve yourself. You have a sister who loves you for who you are, and a supportive friend who advised you to come see me in the first place. And I'm sure I'm only scratching the surface. Like Aang, who eventually overcomes his self-doubt to save that same fisherman,
You owe this boy an apology.
you'll overcome yours, and progress will become apparent.
That'd be the day. It's just hard to believe that when other people when other people don't see it that way. I'm sorry, I can't with words.
Dot, you strike me as having the true blue spirit of Katara.
You can't knock me down! Isn't that a Japanese sword?
No, but she's just as sharp. All right. Katara is kind and compassionate. When she was very young, she tragically lost her mother, so she was forced to grow up fast. She quickly took on a maternal role in her village and in her relationships. She's a waterbender too, the only one from her village. Even though female waterbenders were considered to be strictly healers in the northern water tribe, Katara displayed her aptitude and proved that she was worthy to be trained to become an amazing warrior and a waterbending master. That said, she didn't give up on being a healer. She just knew that she had the ability to become more than just what was expected of her.
Gee, Manetti, you think I'm like that?
Who wouldn't? You said yourself you were forced into a maternal role, but you took it all in stride. And you're clearly adaptable to different situations, a la your moving to town and meeting Larry story. You quickly put yourself out there and showed how capable you were.
Couldn't agree more.
That's very
Love,
true.
you're an amazing woman.
You're both taking to the relationship took to teaching Aang earthbending and waterbending respectively. When Toph first tried to teach Aang earthbending, it proved to be pretty difficult for Aang. Toph's rigid and strict style of teaching was the opposite of Katara's positive and nurturing approach. Both needed to learn from each other on how to teach Aang in the best possible way, because no one way is correct. Although Katara's way is preferred by Aang at first, Toph's way is the one that leads Aang to face adversity and stand his ground. Toph learns to soften up, and Katara learns to mother the group less as the story goes on. Both of Yue need to learn how to best teach your Aang. Yue was Sokka's girlfriend.
She turned
Who we
into
lost. She turned into the moon.
She turned into the moon.
That's rough, Betty.
Maybe Lauren's right, that your friends won't judge you for how you look.
But how would she know? She doesn't know my friends.
I'm inclined to believe her. I mean, if Rocket Power taught me anything about skateboarders, it's that they value friendship above all else.
I don't know. In my experience, it's better to just blend in sometimes.
I understand, Kai. Standing out can be pretty scary.
Aww.
Why did Lauren force you to come here? There must be something that she was concerned about.
She believes I need to open up more. About myself.
And you disagree?
There's parts of myself that people don't need to know.
Well, it seems like Lauren believes they're traits worth sharing.
I don't know. I don't want anyone to think I'm like a geek or something.
Whoa! Geeks are awesome.
Not in my experience. My geeky interests aren't really thought of as cool.
Like what? Enjoying cartoons?
Yeah. And I play video games. Kind of a lot.
I don't think there's anything weird about that.
No, you don't get it. Gaming is something I could actually do well, so I became very good. I learned to main Fox and...
Hang on, what main Fox are we talking about here? Robin Hood, Swiper Todd, Nick Wilde, the Fantastic Mr. Fox, or the Foxes on my soxes?
You are a lot.
Assuming the guy's talking about Smash
Fox is from
Bros.
this game, Super Smash Bros.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
not originally, but that's the game I'm talking about. I got really good as him, and It's stupid, but I kind of studied the best players I could find online to
Nice.
get even better. And
That's
then
really
I started
cool.
entering tournaments and winning.
Wow.
Which led to me getting into other games. Like I now regularly win prizes like loot boxes by placing first in Overwatch tournaments on Battlefy.
Boy,
That's awesome.
this must be how others feel when I talk about cartoons they haven't seen.
And that's why I don't bring it up. No one cares about my stupid bullshit.
No, I didn't say that. Just because I'm not familiar with your passions doesn't mean your passions are stupid. They aren't stupid to Lauren, and if your friends are truly friends, your passions won't be stupid to them either.
I don't know.
I can see why you relate to Toph. Like her, you didn't let your circumstances stop you. You may not have snuck out at night to learn the ancient earthbending practices of the badger moles, but you learned tricks and techniques from online sources to hone your craft and have become one of the most fearsome competitors in specialized competitions.
Yeah, I guess so.
Aw.
You know, there is
Getting
another
on
person who I
Kai's
think you may be able to relate to, who we also learn about in that Storm episode. Perhaps because Aang and this person have similar journeys with self-worth. Zuko.
And this isn't Danny Zuko from Greece.
No, it's not. Please, we're talking about cartoons. This is serious. Zuko is one of the main antagonists for a good portion of the show. His sole mission, right from episode 1, being to capture the Avatar for the sake of the Fire Nation. And he is always grumpy.
Why don't you enjoy a cup of calming jasmine tea?
I don't need any calming tea!
Oh, wow, I'm feeling so good about myself with this comparison.
Just hang on a Momo. Over the episodes, it becomes clear that Zuko is after the Avatar for more than just the sake of the Fire Nation. There are moments where Zuko withholds information from and even sabotages the efforts of other members of the Fire Nation. Also, he can be the one to hand the Avatar over to his father, Fire Lord Ozai, and regain his honor.
Regain his honor?
Yeah, he lost it after speaking out of turn in a meeting, stating that sacrificing a whole Fire Nation troop as a simple distraction in a battle plan was not a good idea. What an offense, am I right? His father punished him by, spoiler alert, facing off against him in combat, burning and permanently scarring his face, and banishing him from the kingdom until he returned home with the Avatar.
That, sounds like a bad dad.
That sounds like an understatement.
I haven't seen the show. How bad did he burn him?
Bad. From then onward, Zuko became this embittered soul, leading a crew in search of the Avatar and becoming an enemy of Aang's.
That doesn't sound very fair.
It doesn't, does it? If only Zuko realized sooner that his worth did not stem from what his father thought of him, or wasn't diminished by his father's constant praising of his sister Azula. If only he learned to trust the words of his loving mother who was no longer in his life, and the support of his wise Uncle Iroh who always believed in him. It maybe could have saved him a lot of internal struggle.
Did it get better for him?
Oh, it did, though he didn't get there alone. As Iroh once said,
While it is always best to believe in oneself, a little help from others can be a great blessing.
even though he had to fall even more in his father's eyes, he trusted his uncle and started a new path for himself, a decision that was so revolutionary, he literally experienced a fever and a metamorphosis of sorts. Even after this, there were backward steps for him, but he ultimately changed for the better.
To Zuko. Who knew after all those times he tried to snuff us out, today he'd be our hero.
Hear, hear!
So, he never proved himself to his dad?
Well, never truly, but I mean, the Fire Lord's not
Fire Lord is
a
bad
great
news.
guy, so it's probably for the best. I know your father isn't the Fire Lord, but Zuko had to be good enough for himself. He didn't need to prove himself to anyone else, and in the end, the people who truly loved him were there through it all.
Wow, people who truly loved him can't relate.
Elliot, why didn't you have a real talk with your boyfriend Mitchell? Kai, as much as I see Toph within you, why do you have this aversion to identifying with Sokka?
Because he's annoying and he can't do anything.
Oh, what? I'm not good enough to kidnap?
Oh, Kai, you can't mean that. You've watched the show. You know how
He can't even bend like the others. You know, bending, the whole reason you watch the show. He's known for his great ideas, but Aang, Katara, and Topher needed to make his ideas work. Not to mention the others have had great ideas too. Better than Sokka's in some instances. He relies on others, he's not taken seriously, and he's a whiny baby! Shit's weak, Bakani! Shit's weak!
Well, Sokka...
Shit's weak!
Sokka may not be able to bend like his friends, but when it came down to it, he relied on his instincts. Like when Jet came along and he knew that guy was sketchy, so Sokka ended up saving an entire town. His lack of bending ability forced him to adapt and develop a resourceful nature that we don't see in a lot of bending characters. It's a strength in its own right.
So I'm Sokka because I'm less than.
I didn't say that.
Well, that's what I'm hearing. Look, in my group of friends, I'm already pretty different, and I don't just mean the EDS. I'm not about to add on that I'm obsessed with video games, that I have to wear f***ing finger braces to play, which, mind you, I used to get made fun of all the time for in school. Yeah, I'm a weirdo, now you know. But that doesn't need to be anyone else's business.
Kai, your feelings are completely valid. I do want to stress that there is an important distinction between feeling less than and actually being less than, which you definitely aren't. Your differences are what make you so spectacular as an individual. Both Sokka and Toph felt different. They both had to begin somewhere and worked to utilize their best traits to kick butt in their own ways. Although violence is never the answer.
Yeah, I guess Sokka did have some fine moments. I mean, he did have that meteor sword.
Right? That thing was the coolest.
So, I need to learn how to be more flexible.
And I need to learn to be more independent. Or can I? How do I stop being such a mom? Oh, it's clear that my doting attitude towards Larry, paired with worrying about everything all the time, is not helping anyone. It's just smothering and annoying.
No, my sweet turtle dove.
Aww.
You could never annoy me. The worst you could do is make me need a nap.
Turtle Duck, you have seen the show!
I said turtle dove.
Sure, Larry. Your secret's safe with me. Duck, mothers don't have a monopoly on those traits, and you don't necessarily need to stop exhibiting them. There's nothing wrong with showing that you care about Larry. Instead of focusing on getting rid of your nurturing side, you need to work on building your independent side. It's duality, like with the Kyoshi Warriors in episode 4 of Book 1.
Book 1?
I thought this was a cartoon show.
The Kyoshi Warriors are a team of elite fighters, and they're all women. Sokka at one point apologizes to Suki, the leader of the Warriors, for treating her like a girl when he should have been treating her like a warrior. Suki's response?
I am a warrior. But I'm a girl, too.
She's not one or the other, she's both. And you can learn to balance the different aspects of your personality, too. You just have to realize that there isn't any side of you that is lesser than any other. This is actually something Larry appears to do quite well.
Did you just compliment my balance?
Last session I gathered that you weathered the murky, dismal social and emotional pressure your grandfather put on you and came out of it fully embracing your sexual identity and shining for all to see! Is that right?
I guess that's true. I mean, I guess I was really just allowing myself to be myself more than anything.
Self-acceptance is even more satisfying than cactus juice. It'll quench ya! Toph also experienced some dissonance between who she truly was and who her caretakers thought she was. She hated the way she was constantly coddled growing up and interpreted it as people believing she was incapable of taking care of herself. You aren't really coddled. Quite the opposite. But you each had a personal journey to trek in order to arrive at the place where you could both be your authentic selves. Your independence and commitment to self-reliance is admirable.
Thank you.
I thought we were pretending like Mitchell didn't exist.
Yeah, but he does exist. Final session, I'd like to work through as much as possible. Why not try to have an open discussion about some of the anxiety you feel in your relationship and how he might be able to help you?
There's no winning. Like he doesn't want to go to therapy because he doesn't see the point. But then he turns around and gets mad at me for going without him. And now he can't see you with me anymore. I've tried bringing things up. And he's never ready. There's never a good time. It doesn't do anyone any good. It doesn't do me any good.
Well, Zuko had to learn to deal with his sister Azula for a similar reason. She had mastered the art of lightning generation, the cold-blooded firebending.
But lightning is hot.
That it is, Elliot. That it is. Zuko was taught that the only way to deal with lightning was by redirecting it away. It was still dangerous to deal with such energy, but it was the only way to take it head on and potentially avoid getting hurt. That may be something you have to do with Mitchell, or any family member when dealing with important things that must be discussed. Redirecting their negative energy away from you and not letting it hurt you in confrontation. I know, easier said than done. But you'll get there, in Scooby-Dooby-Doo time. Just remember, Larry, that you don't need to be completely self-sufficient in order to prove your independence. Your personal strength is not devalued when you let someone else do nice things for you.
I know that. I guess it's just hard for me to understand the need for grand gestures. You're my best friend, Dot. You don't need to do anything more than just be around me, the way you always are.
They're so cute. I love them, they're so cute.
Wish I knew why that wasn't enough for me.
Have you two ever heard of the 5 love languages?
I think so. What defines how different people express love, right?
Exactly. Everyone communicates love to others differently, but the idea of the love languages is that all forms expressions of love can be summed up into these 5 languages: words of affirmation, quality time, gift giving, acts of service, and physical touch.
We already use all of those languages.
Maybe so, but typically people have one primary language that they favor over the others, or that they respond to best.
Well, hello!
Much like the Avatar had to master all 4 elements, maybe it's time that you two learn to master and utilize each other's primary languages. Dot, you really seem to enjoy doing favors for other people. Might acts of service also be the language that speaks to you best?
I don't know. Maybe. It is nice to put effort into doing something nice for someone you love. And for that someone to show their appreciation through more than just words.
And Larry, you've expressed several times that the method of support that you favor is quality time.
Yeah. I mean it when I say that that's all I need from Dot.
You both need to find a middle ground when it comes to communicating your love. You need compromise.
How do we do that?
Well, it entails working on and practicing the love language that speaks to your partner best. It may take a while, but you'll get there in yabba dabba doo time. However, if this still seems like a daunting task, it may be best to look at the Cave of Two Lovers.
Is that like a vacation spot, or?
I'm saying that you and Dot will only get over your mountain of issues by working together to come up with your solution. Much like Katara and Aang did when faced with the Cave of Two Lovers in episode 2 of book 2. A lot of the time, there isn't going to be an obvious path that leads you to all the right answers. Sometimes it's good to take the leap of faith, let the fire burn out, and let love lead the way. The path will reveal itself to you. Trust yourselves. Trust in the idea that you two can work things out, as long as you're working together.
Aww.
Even if you're lost, you can't lose the love because it's in your heart.
Yay, the ukulele!
Sorry. At the end of the day, Kai, whichever character makes you feel like you can conquer the world is a great role model. Except maybe Azula, or Ozai, or Sozin, or Chun the Conqueror, or...
So none of the people who actually tried to conquer the world.
Yeah. If you see yourself as tough, I'm all for it. Just don't forget that any similarities to Sokka you may see in yourself aren't as bad as you think. It's okay to have a little of both. Just keep in mind Uncle Iroh's lesson to Zuko about the different nations and the natures of their people. Each nation had specific strengths: endurance, passion, community, and inner peace. It was important to draw wisdom from different places.
If we take it from only one place, it becomes rigid and stale. Understanding others, the other elements, and the other nations will help you become whole.
Ah, I like that part too. Although, just a bit of constructive criticism. If you're going to use a metaphor for embracing all parts of ourselves, a cleaner example would definitely be the chakras the Guru Pathik teaches Aang about in Book 2, Episode 19.
Ah, yes, the 7 chakras. Dealing with survival, pleasure, willpower, love, truth, insight, and pure cosmic energy.
Each of them blocked respectively by fear, guilt, shame, grief, lies, illusion, and earthly attachments.
And if we worked on each of those issues within ourselves, maybe short of letting go of supportive loved ones in our lives, it absolutely could help us feel better with our self-worth. Well done, Kai.
Aww.
Woogity, 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 woogity.
What was that? What are you doing?
Rocket power? No, never mind. I'd say for you, focus on that fear and shame you seem to be harboring. Take steps to embrace your passions. Your friends and Lauren will appreciate it. Self-improvement can be a difficult journey, but we can all get there. In Blue Skidoo, we can do time.
It's like the third time he's heard his Blue Skies. That's so great.
Sometimes I try to switch things up in order to avoid repeating material. Yeah, they're not all winners. Look, Elliot,
That was a winner to
Uncle
me.
Iroh, who was a firebender, was able to teach Zuko how to redirect lightning only because he had previously studied waterbenders and their techniques. Think of the 4 elements as different parts of yourself. Perhaps by working on other elements within yourself, you will hone the technique of redirecting negative energy as well as further developing your self-worth.
Yeah, but it's like you said, you know, easier said than done. I wouldn't even know where to start.
Then I'll leave you with this, Elliot. One of Aang's best friends, an earthbender king named Bumi, explains to him the concept of Jing. Fighting is positive Jing, and retreating is negative Jing. But then Bumi reveals a third kind, neutral Jing. This consists of doing neither, and waiting for the opportune moment to strike.
Where are you going with this?
Stay with me. You're right, Elliot. If you're feeling terrible about yourself, I can't just tell you to start thinking you're amazing or beautiful. But we can start working in the neutral. Whenever these doubts and insecurities pop up, perhaps you can try thinking, maybe it's possible that I'm not as worthless as I think I am. These bridge thoughts are examples of living in the neutral. It's in the neutral that we're able to change, and by taking the time to be in that state, perhaps the healthiest perspective will find you. Well, it looks like that's all the time we have for today.
Thanks again for your help, Doctor. Hopefully Larry and I can apply what we've learned today and work on understanding each other better.
I have the utmost confidence you will. You two are smart, motivated people who really seem to value each other as individuals and in your relationship. Remember, love is brightest in the dark. It's great that you two both came into the last session and this one, not only to work out your issues, but also you're both so darn funny. I mean, you always have me in stitches.
He knows.
Oh, Doc, you and all your cartoon references. Doc, let's go.
Larry the salmon!
Work through it.
I really appreciated your openness today, Kai. Sincerely. Maybe we can set up another time to talk?
Yeah, sure. Maybe. I don't know. Let me think about it.
No pressure. I hope to hear from you. Also, for the record, I knew Katara and Sokka were from the Southern Water Tribe. It was a ploy to get you to open up.
Mm-hmm. Sure it was.
It was. I definitely knew it. I'm a sly trickster like that. Look, this is what I was writing when you were correcting me.
Sure thing, Bagani.
Okay, well, I went into a lot of detail about complicated plot lines, but I don't know which pole the main characters are from. Sure, that's believable. I guess. I did know it!
Thanks, Dr. Bakani, for everything.
Of course, Elliot. And remember, even though most people aren't the Avatar, the goal is to try to be more like the Avatar. In that, similar to how the Avatar brings balance to the world, we must work to bring balance to ourselves.
Okay.
So I guess, that's all, folks.
Oh.
That was terrible. And also incorrect. I'll see you at the next appointment.
Really? But I thought...
Well, it is always best to believe in oneself. A little help from others can be a great...
Oh, I can't read the quote.
It's blessing.
Right, yeah.
Aww.
Bye.
That was cute.
Cool! Who's my next client? Kai. Like Acne Kai. Gotta make a joke about that. Oh, yeah.
The end. That was awesome.
I just want to let you know that for this video, we have the help of Katie Wharton.
Hi everybody, I am a licensed therapist and I have a mental health channel on YouTube where I talk about all things mental health.
The links for her channel are in the description. They're awesome. So thank you so much, Katie.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Now, check this out. Hey, got my eye on you.
Let's leave.
Let us leave?
Drink cactus juice. It'll quench ya. Nothing's quenching. It's the quenchiest.
Oh my god! That was great.
I look like a beached whale.
Oh, Thomas. Okay. I have to turn on my thing. Okay. No, stop. Don't. Okay. Okay, so that was really, really good. So, wow, like, it's so hard to, like, think about everything I wanted to say, like, you know, in this little afterthought, but pretty much just, that was amazing. And Thomas, I don't know if you'll ever watch this video, but if you do, your community has inspired me to go to therapy. I actually started therapy about a week and a half ago. I attended my first session. And I really think you and your team really hit it on the head with this episode. This was very good in terms of learning, you know, your own self-worth and how hard it can be to think positive. Because, like, everybody will tell you, you know, just think positive and start doing things and it'll be okay, but it's not always that easy. And thinking in the neutral is a very smart idea. It kind of reminded me of something my therapist told me, is that we can't have an all or nothing both ways. Like, it's not fair to expect an all or nothing scenario. Whether, you know, it's all positive or all negative or, you know, nothing at all. Like, being in a neutral state is actually pretty helpful to think, you know, maybe I am worthy of the things that I have. Because I've always thought that, you know, maybe I wasn't worthy of the life that I have. You know, I wasn't worthy because, you know, I'm very blessed with my life. I have a very caring and loving family. My dad, my mom are still married. They have been for, you know, over 25 years. And, you know, I have an amazing little brother and, you know, a roof over my head, food in my belly. And so I always wondered, you know, why am I depressed? Why I have a good life? And, you know, even now after meeting my partner and being with them, it's kind of like, you know, they also taught me that I need to have better self-worth. And it's kind of ironic that this episode was about self-worth because I've actually had a lot of issues of believing that I'm worthy of existing, even at all. So I really like this episode. I'm probably going to watch this one a lot more. Not that I didn't enjoy the Steven Universe one. I did. I'm not as pertained to relationship issues as I am to my own self-worth. And that's one of the reasons why I like the original series of Avatar at all. While I do like Legend of Korra, and like I said, that's a can of beans for another day, the original series was pretty amazing in what it did to develop all the characters involved. And I just think that, Thomas, you and your team did a fantastic job. Everybody is on point. This is a great series, and while that episode was 53 minutes, it sure didn't feel like it. It felt like it went by really fast. I felt like I learned a lot, even more than I already knew, and I love all the little in-jokes that you put in there. I don't think there's been a reference in Cartoon Therapy that I didn't get yet, so, other than the stuff about Steven Universe, but like, other shows, I think I've gotten almost everything. I also think it's a little interesting, maybe a little fan pick, but there's a part in it, I don't remember exactly how it was said, but there was a part where Connie says something about looking at all aspects of yourself and learning that they're all equal. And I almost feel like that could also be said for the Xander sides as well, because a lot of people want to sit there and say that one of the sides is more important than the other in the character version of Thomas from the series, and I'd like to say that's false. I like to think that, you know, all of the sides are important. That includes the sides that may not be, you know, the best, like deceit and, you know, future dark sides we might get later. But overall, this episode was really awesome. And I'm really excited to watch it again. I'm excited to go back and watch the original episode of Cartoon Therapy, and I am really excited for more. And for those of you who, you know, stumbled upon my channel because you watch Thomas's videos, welcome. I do reacts to all of his scripted series, so that includes the Standard Sides and Cartoon Therapy and anything else in the future. I also joined his subscription thing, the whatever the join button is, you know, where you pay $5 a month and get stuff. So, you know, I will be aware of, you know, new things that come out. I'm pretty excited for all of that, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next video, which is, for those of you who watch me for my Love Life stuff, will be the amazing, really big Fairy Tale Rico Scout, because as of right now, I have 20 pulls for her, I think? I don't know, I can't math. I don't think it's that many. No, I think it's 17, yeah, 17. For now, until I get more gems. But, yeah, so look forward to that, and maybe even some more videos on this channel, should I feel that maybe I'm worthy to make more videos about the things I enjoy. Because that's one thing I really did like about this episode, was Kai was very, very someone I could definitely relate to. Because as a nerd, as a geek, sometimes I don't really talk to people about my interests. Because I like anime and I like video games, and that's not always accepted as a female. You know, like, you're supposed to be the whatever society deems a female is supposed to be, and I'm also a little overweight because I like to eat. Like what people can do, you know, like, so this episode kind of taught me that, you know, maybe I need to embrace who I am and embrace the fact that I do like to, you know, play video games and watch anime and play my mobile game, and it's okay that, you know, others may not understand what I like, but they're willing to listen to me talk. And, you know, now that I say that, I actually can think of a lot of times where, you know, I'll talk about my video games to my mom, and she'll listen, and she'll be interested, and she'll, you know, be able to remember things I've told her when I update her about how far I am in the game again. She's done that for my brother his entire life. My brother's more into games than I am. And she's done that even since I was a kid, when I used to talk to her about anime like that. I don't really watch that much anime anymore, but, you know, I guess this episode was good because it made me think more about how worthy I am of everything good in my life. I don't have to hide things about myself. So, Thomas and crew, I really appreciate that. I really appreciate this video. The therapist that you guys work with is amazing because she definitely knows her stuff. And I can't wait for the next episode of Cartoon Therapy, and I'm really excited for the topic, so I will see you guys in the next video. And Thomas and crew, if you watch this, I am a major fan of the series, and I hope you never stop making Cartoon Therapy, and I hope you know that we, your fans, are here for all of your series, not just the Standard Sides. While I enjoy the Standard Sides a lot, I am here for you guys. I am here to watch the things that you create, because what you create is amazing. Don't let anybody ever tell you that it's not, because it is. You guys are doing amazing work for all of us, and it is greatly appreciated. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye!